So this section is about figuring ways to build and creating a structure by which you're going to be building or refreshing your personal brand. And your personal brand is not just about just creating one that is a blah brand, right? You want that brand to be memorable, distinctive, and usually you want to make sure that you're making it in such a way that it's actually something that may be perceived by your targets as something that is what they want. So it takes a lot of thought. There are 6 steps for anyone that you are wanting to either build, refresh, improve, supercharge your personal brand. And here are the 6 steps. Number 1, assess your current situation. Figure out what you want to do. Focus on understanding your target, and the deeper and the more research you do on understanding your target, the better, because now you're going to understand their greatest challenges and problems and then be able to shape your unique value in a simple, concise statement that say, I get you, and here's how I can help you. And then number 5, start getting noticed against the right stakeholders. Number 6, once you have achieved what you want to achieve in your career, then you're looking for what's next. And number 6 is so important because you realize very quickly that success is not a destination. Success is a journey, and often, even though you may be where you're at today and you may be relatively happy, as soon as something changes in your life, now you need to change your situation. And sometimes you don't control those things. You just need to be prepared. And this is why these 6 steps are not just done once. I typically will do them at least once or twice a year. And often if I'm actually looking for a job and I want to be able to get a job, get hired faster, I'm actually doing all 6 steps much quicker, maybe 3 to 4 times in a year. And the more things change in industries or even in the type of jobs that you would consider, the more you have to actually figure out how to do all 6 steps iteratively over time. And these 6 steps are essential in order for you to ensure that you're building a powerful personal brand. So let's talk in more details about each one of these. So number 1, assess your situation. And assessing your situation is about assessing what you know about everything that is in different ways. And it's also about understanding who you know and then figuring out where do you need to increase specific types of stakeholders that you need to know if you don't have a good critical mass of who you know today. So assessing your situation includes not just about your hard skills, it's also about your assessment of your soft skills, both. And you need to leverage the strengths across both hard skills and soft skills in the way you're presenting yourself against your targets. And that can be anything that is about knowledge, skills, expertise, but it could also be about your appearance. It could be about your communication style. It could be about your behavior. These are all things that are soft skills. If you're being focused on getting a lot of the hard skills, and that means more education, formal education, from bachelor's to master's to certifications and certificates, that's all hard skills. Soft skills can also be nurtured and built, and those things can lead to communication styles, different ways, new ways of communicating, understanding behavior and proper behavior and etiquette and ethical behavior, and it's about your appearance. And this, if you look at these soft skills, it's really about building your emotional intelligence. Whereas what you know and hard skills, it's all about using your intelligent quotient to build more of those faster. You can also use that same to build your soft skills as well. So these are the different ways you can actually assess, and often assessing your brand awareness is also about assessing your appearance, your behavior, your communication style, and making sure you build across all three of those in order to have everything correctly. Not just what you know, but also build who you know. Number two, choose what you want. Make sure you write down goals and objectives. Make sure you prioritize them. Make sure you revisit the promises that you're making to yourself, and make sure you are fulfilling those promises, not just continue to put promises and forget about them, because I would call those resolutions. Promises are the promises, the most important things that you're promising yourself that you want to achieve in your life, within your lifespan. So, how to manage perceptions? Managing perceptions is all about managing your appearance, your behavior, your communication style. Simple. All of those things is about building, developing, improving leadership skills. Then you focus on your target. Focusing on your target means that you need to understand not just who they are, gender, age groups, all those things, but also job functions that they're in currently, and the type of companies and even industrial sectors that you're targeting, because that's where you think that you want to go next. And that's figuring out how to target them so that you can actually build a large set of people that you need to know that will be able to get you to where you want to go next in your career. Number four, once you understand that, then build and shape the way you're going to present yourself and the unique value proposition that you would offer those people. So once you're found them, now you need to target them in the way you present yourself, concisely, in a simple message that they can understand in their terms, in their language, as to why they need to continue connecting with you and maybe nurturing a relationship to the point when they're ready to hire you, when there's a job opening, they'll come to you first before they even go to anybody else. And that is what you want to do with shaping your unique value proposition. Understand their paradigm, empathize with them, so that you can present yourself to them the right way, and you present yourself as the problem solver for whatever they're doing. Number four, align all of these things with your purpose. And ikigai is a term that is a newer term that means your reason for being. Why are you here? Why are you here in this world? Make sure you answer that question to yourself and align your work and your skills and everything else about you, your soft skills, around that purpose for being. And we all have different purpose for being, and that's what makes us unique. That's what makes me unique from you or anybody else in the world. Find out what that is, because once you find out what that is, you will know that not all job descriptions will fit your reason for being. Not all companies that have the job description that you're looking for will match your reason for being. And maybe those are the discriminators that you should be including in the way you would target and who you target, where they are, and the types of companies that they work in. Make sure you understand that, because if you don't understand your reason for being, you may be today in the raw job title. You may have the right compensation, even better compensation than you expected, and a good set of benefits, but you're unhappy. And this is why it's work to you. And so I'm talking to all of you. If you don't understand your reason for being, and you're in a place where your reason for being doesn't match what you do for a living to pay the bills, you're unhappily employed. And it's pretty simple that if you're unhappily employed, you need to now figure out where you want to go next. If it's not that company, you need to be looking for other companies, other roles that fulfills you and your purpose for being. So it takes a lot of introspective and self-awareness to find out your reason for being. And this is where we can help you figuring out what is that reason for being, so that you can then now start using that to start reshaping where you're going next in your careers. Number 5, once you have all of these first 4 steps done and you're ready to go, then you got to go out and get noticed. And no better person to market you than you. So this is where you start now looking at how not only how you're creating or updating your cover letter, your resume, and other collateral that is typical of a job search. It's actually about doing different things in the way you get noticed. Different types of content, different communication channels, targeting. In my case, for myself, when I'm looking for a new job or a new type of work as a contractor, I typically will use LinkedIn and Twitter as my main channels of communication. But then the content is not just text-based, it's not just memes anymore, it's actually videos as well. And actually now you can actually have a lot of different content that is just targeting people just to keep them warm in your pipeline. People that you're already connected with, you're sharing posts in different ways, different types of posts. Sometimes you're creating the posts, sometimes you're sharing posts, and all of that will keep you warm against your targets. And as you change targets, then you need to change your content. Or you change your content in order to actually start gaining more of the right targets. And often you may even use other channels. I mentioned video earlier. Well, you can actually, if you do this, you can actually create your own channel on YouTube as well. And not only are you using LinkedIn and Twitter, you now have your own channel and a set of playlists on your YouTube channel or Vimeo or any of those, right? Video marketing is huge right now, and it's actually growing faster than anything else. And you need to start creating content that you may never have had before. So all of these are things that you want to be able to do. Number 6, once you achieve the steps, hopefully you'll be able to get into the right position and you'll be there for a long time. That's the thinking usually when we get hired for, into something new. But often, because that change happens, and if there's anything constant in life, is change happens. Some of those changes are not always going to be in your favor. And one example is today's crisis. And I'm going to share a story. At the beginning of the year, I've been doing training for a long time. And actually, when I'm training executives and managers within companies. So I'm actually doing a lot of live training. And the majority of the training that I've been doing for the last 5 years has been international training, meaning I have to travel internationally to be there in person. And then I'm doing adult learning right in front of executives and managers. I'm actually training them on different topics that they're interested in. And I've been doing that. That's the majority of the work. At the beginning of the year, I had several training days planned for March and beyond. And guess what? All of those trainings that were live that require me to do international traveling, I can't do anymore, right? As of the beginning of March, I was already told, the 100 training days that you were supposed to have right now at the very least, because it was going to be getting larger, all of those are gone. So what do? I never expected it. I've been doing this for the last 5 years. I'm getting great reviews as an expert trainer for live courses. What do I do next? Well, I had to very quickly pivot my business model, and now I'm turning everything that is live to being virtual live. And I could have done it before, and I hadn't done it because most people's mindset up until the beginning of this year was that live training is the greatest quality ever compared to anything, because most everybody is used to the MOOCs like Udemy and others, and they just know that they're not the same as in-person training. They have never experienced live virtual training that I can do. And I know that because I get great reviews when I've done live virtual training. Well, all of that work was gone, and now I had to come back and pivot my entire business model. And now I'm in the process of now announcing a series of live virtual workshops that I'm going to be delivering over time. And you're going to hear about some of this next. So all of these things may happen because you want to have at least a plan B, plan C, plan D, all those things as part of your contingency plan, your business continuity plan about you. This is your own career continuity plan. And you may be in the world where at the beginning of the year, you know things were looking great. And now, especially if you're working for a company that has been impacted, like let's say you're a product manager at Expedia, what's happening right now in hospitality, right? Expedia and hotels.com and Airbnb, all of those brands, what is happening to their valuations? They're like tanking because no one's traveling, everybody's canceling their Airbnbs that were, 6 months booked 6 months in advance or more. And for the first time ever, Airbnb had to refund when they never had any refunds. They never had a refund policy up until now. So what's happening if you're in those companies where, now demand has gone down and it's gone down to like depression level, right? If you're looking at what's happening in the airline industry, they never expected this. And now there's probably going to be some significant downsizing and restructuring of those companies. And industry by industry, if you are in any of those, you're now desperately looking for what's next for you. Because you may be right now employed, but you know that likelihood of you being there the rest of the year is low. So this is one of those high impact, low probability cases because of these changes. And now you need to start restructuring what's next. And what's next is usually what leads to going back to step number one. This is the whole thing, is that these 6 steps are iterative, right? And you control, because this is about your own personal brand, you control what's next. You control when you go back to step 1, and you go through the 6 steps over and over throughout your life as you need to in order to accelerate your career. So wrap up, summary, let's summarize the 6 steps that allow you to build and supercharge your personal brand. Number 1, you want to make sure you do assessment of your current situation. How are you liking your job, your current job, if you're employed? What are the things that are likely to happen this next year? And what are the things that you need to do to prepare? And what are the things that you need to do to increase not only what you know, but also who you know? Then number 2, choose what you want to do. How much building of what you know do you want to do next year? How much of who you know you want to build in the next year? Make sure you have metrics for both. Number 3, recognize your target, especially when it comes to adding more people of who you know, different type of stakeholders. Make sure you're now looking for opportunities to meet and maximize how you meet those people that are new targets for you. Also, once you understand that, make sure you package yourself in the way you present yourself in a way that is unique and genuine and authentic to you. And we all are unique, so you just have to get creative at presenting yourself in the way when you are against a new target. Number 5, go out there and get noticed. And that means network, even when networking can be virtual. Learn how to become a great networking when you're attending virtual events. Then number 6, decide what's next. And like I said, these 6 steps, usually because of what I do and because I'm a contractor and a consultant, I'm doing these 6 steps at least once or twice a year. You decide how often. You don't have to do it necessarily the same way that I do, right? But at least figure out what is the right frequency as to which you're going to have to iterate across all 6 of these steps in order for you to continue to accelerate your career.